Hey, what's up, everybody? You've heard it said before that you can't have too much of a good thing, and I couldn't agree more, especially when you got successful people doing significant things. And so I want to introduce volume two of the impact of influence. They've done this project. Chip Baker, the head chef in the kitchen on this deal, did part of this, initiated it earlier this year, did a big book tour, Impact of Influence Volume 2, with a few of the authors joining us today. And I can't wait to dive into this because, man, I've been a part of Chip's journey for a couple years. He and I know each other, but I've watched this Impact of Influence take off, and it is just making a big splash out there. So I want to formally welcome everybody to the show and defer to Chip to give us some background on this deal.
Well, first off, John, man, I just want to say thanks so much for the sweet intro. I'm like, man, who are those guys? Oh, that's us. But first, man, I just want to say thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to hang out with you on your platform. You know, love what you do, love what you're about. Last in line leadership is some really good stuff, and I support it. So first, I just want to start off by saying thanks for having us
Of course.
on your platform and supporting. Truly appreciate it.
Of course.
But the impact of influence, uh, man, volume two, 19 amazing men that are doing great things, that give from a pure heart, just good guys doing good things, you know. And we've come together to share our stories on things or a person or situations or things that have influenced us and impacted us in our life, what we've learned from it, and then how we're using those lessons, the blessings from the lessons, to be servants and helpful to others and make our world better. And
Yep.
so I'm really excited to share the journey. As you'll see, as we talk more with the guys on the interview, and just great guys. And so truly excited to be here this morning with you, and let's get it.
Yeah, man. Hey, I can't wait because, like, I know that if they're a friend of yours, they're a friend of mine, whether they want to be or
Yes,
not.
let's
So,
go.
you've the first volume had what, 18 guys, 19, that same
uh,
amount of guys, right? And we
no,
got
we had
another
16 guys.
16. Okay, so we got a few more this time, and we've got three of them with us today, and we might have another one joining us, but we've got Andre Amager from South Carolina. We've got Charles Woods from right here in the great state of Texas, as well as Kenneth Wilson from over in the DC area. And we might even get to talk some Ravens football possibly today. I don't know. But
Never know.
anyway, man, hey, let me get out of the way here and let's hear about, I'm going to ask some questions after we go into some of your backgrounds, but let's start with Andre, man. Go into, and we'll just kind of go around the table here and just give us a brief background of you and how you came across this project and what got you excited about it.
Chris, all right. Well, thank you very much for that. First, I want to thank you most highly, to just let me be here with y'all today. And I want to thank Chip for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this impact and influence. And of course, John, you for the last line leadership. I mean, like I said before, I think that's an awesome name. And of course, to the gentleman below, Charles and Kenneth, give you our praise and appreciate it for that. But my name is Andre Amager, aka Mr. Bounce Back. I'm a music producer, sound designer, sound engineer, teaching artist. My wife and I have an organization called Responsible Artistry, and we deal with kids from 5 to young adults. And I love music. I'm a 3-time stroke survivor. I love doing music. I love just being who I am. But it came about one day. I love telling this story because me and Chip always laugh about it. He knows why. He hit me up early one morning. Luckily, I'm an early person. And he said, hey. And before I finished reading the text all the way, I was like, I'm in. Let's go. I'm in. I'm all for it. And so the other day I had I told the story before, but I like telling it. The way impact works for me, I always look at different things and how this came about, or how I look at it in this sense, right? Okay, I use Muhammad Ali for an example. He is one of the only fighters I know who's ever hit somebody going backwards and drop them, right? So the impact, I mean, that's a serious impact to hit somebody going back. I mean, velocity hit him when you standing still. Like Mike Tyson, he used to get in Mike Tyson. He used to go and just go all in. So for somebody going backwards to hit you and you fall, that's an impact. And so I say it to say we all have impacts that come in our lives, good or bad, up, down, indifferent. And so we have to try to brace for them if we can. To be honest, and for the most part, we can't because we don't see them coming. It's like the phantom punch. You know what I mean? You got all the skills in the world, but somebody's always faster than you. So I always had more skill than you. And so when this opportunity came, I was already ready. In the sense, I already was, writing for this book or just for a book period. And then so I love doing it. So I love the fact that I can take this, and this is another tool, or I call it another piece of knowledge to put in a box. I appreciate for the opportunity.
Sure.
I'm definitely ready, and just ready to go after it.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate it, man. Sounds good. And I heard you right that you're a 3-time stroke survivor. I can't wait to dig in a little more to that. And yeah, man, it's good. Everybody's got a story inside them, and it's good to have a guy like Chip around to pull that out of you and make the best of that and impact people with it. So let's run over to Charles, or as they were calling him earlier, Chuck, if I'm allowed to call you that.
Man, I have so many names. As long as it's PG and rated for the show, then it's
all right.
fine.
All right. Mr. Woods, you're up.
All right. My name is, first, John, would like to thank you for having us on your platform, man. Cool. And always thank the gentleman for being a part of this project. And it's always good seeing you, brothers. You said earlier that, you're a friend of Chip, so that makes you a friend of ours. I think, if Chip says yes to you, and gets us on one of these shows, and whether you believe it or not, you're our friend.
Yeah,
there we go. I accept it, man. I receive that.
We're gonna reach out to you because when Chip is one of those guys that, like Andre said, man, it doesn't take too much. If Chip asks you, man, I'm in. I'm all in. He's one of those guys I trust in this world to get on the project, do some things with, and without a shadow of a doubt, when he asked me about this, I was in. But my name is Charles Woods. I was born in Dallas, raised in Conroe, Texas, the Row. I reside in Tascasita right now. This is my 19th year in education. Wouldn't change anything about it. Didn't go to school to be an educator. Didn't want to educate anybody's kids. Didn't want to coach anybody's kids. Didn't want to talk about coaching or educating anybody's kids to their parents or anything like that. But, it was something that I was kind of thrown into. Tried it for a year, and look at me now. I love it. I love having the impact that I get to have on young men and women. And also at the level that I am now, I am a principal of a specialized school for kiddos that suffer from social emotional needs. I get to have an impact on those young men and women and support staff as we try to, put our heads together to support them the best way possible. So I've been kind of pushed in this direction. Love every minute of it. The project here with Chip, the first book I was on there with Chip, like, he texted me, called me about that. And I was like, I was all in, just like Andre. It didn't take much convincing or anything like that. I'm I'm all in. Something that's great about it, though, I never imagined myself being a part of a compilation or writing a book or putting myself in anywhere in that situation, just moving along with life. That was something I really never really focused on. And Chip kind of brought that out in us, I think in a lot of us guys that are doing these projects, because we do have backstories. Sometimes we don't feel like we want to share it. There's certain times that we share when somebody asks us to maybe speak at certain events and things. I've been asked to speak at certain events and just talk to kids and things like that, but I've never thought about putting myself on a platform like this just to share my story. Because I'm one of the kids that grew up in one of those situations where everything wasn't peachy and creamy, had struggles that I had to go through, and I had to focus on positive things to get me through. And my part of that is I want to share that story with, I want young men and women to read that piece and understand that it's something better out there. Your situation might be hard right now, but you know, there's things put in place for you to be successful. You just have to take advantage of those.
Yeah.
You have to concentrate on positive and try to, you know, cover up, push to the side all the negative that's out there. So it builds you, builds a solid person, builds a solid you, so you can be successful for yourself as well. That's so I love it. Love being a part of this project. Love the influence piece, man.
That's good, man.
Hey, John. Hey, John. We only hit 2 of them already, and you already see.
Hey, I mean, I didn't even doubt. Like, I like the rest of them. I just was like, hey, this is going to happen, and this is going to be good regardless. Man, it's funny because Chip, you know, when he starts something, you always know there's a volume 2, 3, and 4 coming. Like you just know that there's that much good. Like I said at first, you can't have too much of a good thing, so you might as well let it pour out and overflow. And right behind me, Chip and I worked on that Rock Solid book, and it just says volume 1, and that tell you what, that leaves the door wide open for some more volumes, if you ask me.
Yes,
so, moving right along here. Last but not least, Mr. Kenneth Wilson. Talk about yourself, sir.
Well, I hate talking about myself, but before I jump in there, it's funny. Like, we all share the same story about Chip, and it's funny. And I've heard this before. Anybody comes across Chip, we all say it. Chip texts you, he calls you. It don't matter what it is. Like, yeah, all right, amen. What up? I don't care what it is. You don't even know. Before you get it out, you just see you see Chip's name. You're like, all right, I know what's something good. Ain't nothing bad coming from that, you know. Yeah. But I remember we going through the last one. I know Charles was a part of that. On my podcast, we were doing the first interview on our pod, and we coined the phrase "chipped in."
Yep.
Because it was like, you know, if you know Chip, you're connected. It's like LinkedIn. It's like it's better than LinkedIn. So the hashtag chipped in. That's where that started coming about. If you've seen that before. Yeah. So you know, got to give Chip his props. Anything we do, you know, like thanks, brother, and good morning. You know, my man. But I just had to say that real quick. And then again, thanks again, John. You know, I mean, not so far. But my name is Kenneth Wilson, aka Big Fella. As you can see, I do things a little unconventional. I like to have fun with this. Founder of an organization called Men of Stature, which is an organization for Black men. All of our services, our initiatives surround Black men, and you know, our pillars are comradeship, virtue, and health. You know, so we do a lot of things specifically designed for us. You know, whether that's things focused on health, from like we do yoga to having safe spaces and virtual safe spaces where we can come and share. Now that we're moving around a little bit more, that's going to actually change too. You know, a lot of things involving initiatives like Read, our Black Men Read initiative, and all those things as well too. We focus on promoting literacy. And now got a new pair of products out as well too. So now we got skin products, we got wellness products, all designed for us. You know, so that organization, like I said, just providing services in the safe spaces for us. Also CEO of a company called Black Squirrel Media. And Black Squirrel Media is just media company that surrounds a lot of different things. Our Black Squirrel Media Network, which is just a network, affiliation network for podcasters, YouTubers, all Black creators, is giving them a space and opportunity to shine and share and grow organically. I also founded a festival called Be Lit, which is all about Black art, Black artists. And we do actually a festival, bring artists together. You know, it's full-fledged performances, Black businesses, everyone come together, and it's a time to showcase and share their art. And then at this point now, I'm also an international safety expert and consultant. So I do a lot of things involving safety, public safety, things like that. So that's kind of just me in a nutshell. So again, just wanted to share. Again, this opportunity is always, like I said, I just enjoy the process is also as much as the final product as well too, because the process involves us.
Right.
You know, like right now, 2 volumes of this book, we're talking about 30 plus authors, and get to share and get to hear everyone's stories. And every time I do, it's life-changing, you know? So even though I feel like I'm a part of the process, I still kind of feel like I'm outside still looking in, because I just love this to meet and hear and share with you all so much. So just thank you for this. And I look forward to just going through this with you brothers as well too, man.
Yeah, man. So like Kenneth, it sounds like you need a few more things to do. Like it sounds like you might need a list of, you know, golly, man. I don't know where you find the hours in the day, but no, you're doing some great work, man. I can't wait to get to know you further and stay connected with the rest of you guys too. And Man, so I'll kind of throw these out. I got just a couple things I just want to pick y'all's brain on and give the audience an idea and how to relate and connect with y'all so that they can go buy this book when it comes out. So, what, I guess my question is, what void do you guys feel like, if at any, not a void doesn't have to be negative, but what space within you almost did this book or this project kind of fill? Did you notice it kind of fit in perfectly within you, your spirit, your person, your psyche, like your like, was there a place that this project just fit perfectly? And tell us about where that sort of made a connection inside you as a person and filled a little bit of a space there. Let's start with Andre.
Actually, two things. The first one was with me, in my journey in school. So I'll tell you a quick story, and then the second one is with a young man I just dealt with. So that was in school, about middle school, and because I've educated from me, it's always that one child that just gotta have that attention. It just has to be in the front of in the limelight. So I say this in the book, so I won't give too much away. My homeroom from from 7th grade to 11th grade was the principal's office. I had to go to the principal's office. I mean, like literally, they used to bring my food to me in her office. And I was like, man, this is great. I get to go in here and do that. But then I started to learn that my social skills dropped down because I was around a lot. Right. And I started to realize, like, okay, this was not cool no more. This played out. Right. I'm like, this is crazy. I say, how is that possible? I was like, I need to be able to get back in there and, and try to get back with the kids. So I had to look at myself and I say, okay, what are you going to do to be different? Right. And so I fast forward to now. I just dealt with a kid the other day. He was saying that he was, he's acting out. He was acting out on every kind of level. So I'm sitting there saying to him, what's the issue? Or what's the problem? Or what's causing you to be like this or do this? And I've learned that from doing this, that most kids never have an opportunity to talk. Or most even some of young adults, they're talked at, but not talked to. And so I had to sit them down to have a conversation with them and say, hey, listen, it's a better way. Then the end that is, I told Chip this other day, I'm so uncomfortable doing this because I'm past cool with doing this for kids or with young adults. That's my lane. I can go in there and do music with them. I can go in there teaching chess. I can go and teach them read, math, all that. This is about them. But when I found out it's about me, I'm like, man, I have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. Right, so that was an impact for me. Is that as I said with y'all, and I told Chip, I had to go meditate before I come in here because I'd be hyper. So I played football, so I was a middle linebacker. I love impact, no pun intended. I like to hit, I used to box, I used to play basketball. So I was like, you know what? Let's go. So I told Chip, I said, every time I had to go do about 10 minutes of meditation to actually calm down. To sit here and even as we talk, I'm telling myself, just, relax, chill out. So I say that to say that people don't realize that you have everything lined up, everything going exactly how you think, and then all of a sudden you just get punched in the face. Not literally, but most of it's mental. Like right now, 2020 was a really hard time for people. But they had to sit down with themselves and they had to reflect. Like you said, things came to you. The last line, leadership came to you, right? So we had time to do that. I had time to sit down and say, okay, you know what? I got to recalibrate some things to where it's impactful. Mm-hmm. I did I did a review on our program and how it works. And we had to revamp it for it to work now because kids now, it's even a bigger trauma now because it's unnormal. Now it's become, this is a normal thing to wear a mask. It's a normal thing not to hug. It's a normal thing not to high five. So that's the impact. So, you know what I mean? So doing that's that, good. I just,
That's good, man. Well, you know what else? I want to throw something in there too. I think you might have misunderstood the project, because it sounds like, being a boxer and a football player, you thought this book was about full contact football drills. Like, you thought it was impact. You thought you were going to get to smash heads. I think Chip, you need to clear this up for
My
Andre.
bad.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm just playing. So this guy took it literally. All right. So no, I appreciate you saying that, because that example you gave about when you were a child and then relating that to now and dealing with kids, like, I think that was perfect answer, man. Chuck, do you got anything, maybe a spot within you that maybe this stretched you a little bit, your capacity for growth? Maybe you were uncomfortable doing this at first. Like, talk about maybe a spot within you that this project sort of filled and was right on time for.
For me, I was, nervous about the writing and the part of that, getting thoughts down on paper and put my story out there. But this really fills a void for me from when I was a kid to like now in education, because you see so many negative things. Right. It can be negative situations, negative people, negative events. And, what do we all notice? That majority of humanity, they cling to the negative events. So this is really a chance for us, and not just me, for us, the gentlemen that are writing this book, to focus on positive things, to let people know that there is a difference. There is something else to lean on. We don't always have to let our lives be run by negative events, or let our lives be taken over because something negative happens. Mm-hmm. To me, like in the first volume, I talked about being surrounded with a good group of guys growing up, because that's what helped me get through things when I was when I was young, when I was mm-hmm. growing up, going through life, through middle school, high school, college life. But there's more than that too. That's just being taking advantage of the positive situations that you run into, making sure that you notice those positive situations and you respond to those positive situations, because we respond to negative. We know it all the time. We're upset about it. We blast it out. We worry. We stress out about it. But do we focus on the positive stuff? Do we try to grab on to the positive things and move in that direction? Yes, we're going to hit obstacles, but yes, we're going to have positive influences at different portions of our lives that we need to make sure we cling on to, and let that be the basis of mm-hmm. driving you through everyday life. Mm-hmm. You see so much negative. Like, I can't help but to see negative every day, with the things that my young kids bring in with them, and me as an adult in the building, as a leader in the building, I'm always trying to push the negative side. Well, have you looked at it like this? And like Andre said, like, just talking and letting them talk too, listening to them. I'm talking with them and I'm not talking at them, and letting them get it out, and then asking questions and letting them give me feedback, and then directing them into a positive way. So yeah, I just look at it as an opportunity for us to kind of tone in on the focus, of everyday life, and try to focus more on the negative, on the positive side.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate that. I mean, it's great perspective. Man, I know that's a lot of people are looking at that through that lens, or looking at life through that lens. And hopefully we get enough people doing that, looking at the positive and not reflexology of go right toward the defense and to the negative. Right. But, yeah. So, hey, as we kind of get over to Kenneth here on this, I mean, man, there's not much void in your schedule, it sounds like, because of all the tasks and duties and obligations and responsibility. But within you, man, you sound like you've been around the block a few times when it comes to writing and speaking and doing some projects and events and initiatives. Man, was there anything in you that you felt like this thing just was right on time for and showed you about yourself?
It was exactly right on time. And it's God how it happened for real. Because as I was going through my organization, we're piecing some of the things together. And the last year or so, I know the world has been making a focus on mental health, but it's been especially important for me and what we're doing and how we're connecting with other men is one of the focuses I really wanted to hone in on. So as Chip sends the message, it was the first thing that came to me. We're talking about the impact. We're talking about And I said, I wanted to highlight and showcase a personal story about my mental health journey. And I said, I think this will be a perfect avenue to do that, because we talk about impact through people, we talk about impact through events. This is also an event in my life, was a period in my life, but I also wanted to use it as a showcase to say, you know what, hey, it's okay to go through this. It's okay to have a process. It's okay as a man to focus on not only your physical, but your mental health and what that looks like, and be open about it. So, because sometimes I feel like, we talk about it, but I know just from being a man, and race at this point goes out the window, just a man, you guys know.
Absolutely.
We don't really share the details of that. Sometimes, as men, we just kind of talk sometimes at surface level, hey man, had to go talk. But no, what does that really look like? What did that process do? What were the outcomes? How did you feel about it? The whole nine. So that was important to show the impact of that process. Yeah. And for me, and what that, so hopefully the goal was to share that, and so other men can see that, other people really can see it, because everyone could really, I think, relate to that, So awesome. It was so perfect on that level.
That's good, man. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like this whole thing met you right in that spot where you needed it to meet you when you needed it to meet you. So, man, as we kind of close up a little bit here and just wrap it up, because I don't want to keep asking too many questions, and then we got to, spoiler alert. And then we got, I want people to have a reason to come out and buy that book, because I know there's a lot of layers to your stories, and I can't wait, man. You guys are awesome. It's already good to meet you and get to know you. And it sounds like to me what Chip did, maybe he knew he was doing it, maybe he didn't, but it sounds like in a world where we got a lot of 6 p.m. friends, we created a network with a lot of 3 a.m. friends. So it sounds like to me, these connections are, I could call you at, 3 a.m. Chip, I won't do that. But it sounds like to me, we got a lot of these solid relationships being built here that are beyond just when it's convenient for us to be there for somebody. So it sounds like they go way deeper. Chip, I'm going to let you, man, as the head chef, like I called you earlier, man, I'll let you kind of close this out. And I want to ask you a question. Yeah. Man, give advice to somebody right now that maybe they wish they could be a guy that could tell a story or be a person that someone's writing about. So the people you guys are writing about, I'll clear that question up. You're writing about somebody that had influence in your life and how it impacted you. Talk to somebody right now that wants to be that person that somebody writes about, having an impact or an influence on their life. How can we be that person that says, man, I'm pouring into somebody. So, not because I want them to write about, but I want to be that person somebody ends up writing about someday. How do we be that to somebody?
Well, man, first off, John, that's a great question. I think the fact that we are here is enough evidence to show you that you can be that person. Cool. Right. Like the big man, I always say, big man made us all a one of one, and so in knowing that, just knowing that, like there's no other person like you. So you're special. So just in knowing that, you already have what you need in you. It's already been given to you. Mm-hmm. You just got to realize it and then go do your thing and influence and impact others. And so like this process, you could ask them about the process, the void. Like for me, it's giving me reassurance, because I don't care who you are. We all sometimes feel like, am I capable of doing this? Mm-hmm. Do I have enough value? Well, do people want to really read something that I wrote? Right. Like, why would they waste their time reading something that I wrote? Right. And we all have those instances, but this process has given me reassurance. It's assured me that it's important to have those continued connections and build quality relationships. Mm-hmm. It's important to push yourself to have continued growth. It's important to realize that there is no limits. The only limits that we have are the limits that we place upon ourselves. So within that, who does that fall back on? You, me, So we have to look at ourselves and know that, hey, we are capable. Whoever's watching this, you are capable. You have value. You can do it. You just have to believe it and then go make it happen. Yep. You can too be an influence of impact, right? And so, the beauty is we've highlighted those people in our life. And for me, it's no superstars, everyday people. Right. People that's in my life every day. Like you say, 3 a.m., Like that's the most influential. Like I can look at, Jay-Z, he doing it. Yeah, but I can't talk to Jay-Z. I can't call, but I can call Woods. I can call Ken, I can call Andre. Hey man, how'd you do that? How'd you, and we can all learn and grow. I can call John. We can learn and grow. And we've all done that, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about. You can do that. So man,
that's
great
good.
question.
We're fitting to have church. It sounds
Come
like
on.
right now.
Man, lights.
Hey, so all right, Chip. Logistics.
Yeah.
Give us some time frames. Give us some avenues. Give us some places to go.
Yeah.
Kind of keep up with the time frame and the resources behind this project. Talk about when it's coming out. When it's book tours. Anything you got planned? We got a couple minutes, so let's see what you got.
Quick for you. All right. So basically, we're dropping the book mid-September. We'll have our launch. From that, we're planning. I'm sorry, mid-October, planning to do that. No, September. I'm confused. So September, starting the tour in October. That's what it is.
All right.
Yeah. Dropping in mid-September. I looked at Andre because Andre would be the first spot. Just putting that out there. So dropping in September, starting the tour in October. Based on COVID numbers, looking for other things. Probably gonna go with Kenneth in DC area. But man, really looking forward to it. Ask that people would just follow the guys on their social media to purchase signed copies of the book. So you see the guys, Charles Woods, Andre Amateur.
I'll put it in the show notes on this. I'll put it in the notes.
They'll have their links on their sites. Go get signed copies from them. So thank you, John.
Hey, good to meet y'all. It's been good to hear your story. Impact of Influence, Volume 2. They've been the superstars from this project. We've been last in line. Be blessed.